Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Katie and today we are going to be creating a 2-page spread using the Unbounded Beauty collection from Stampin Up. So I did keep this one, again, very simple because that is going to be my go-to for a while just to kind of get everyone introduced into the scrapbooking world. This is really just cutting strips of paper. So the bottom piece is 1.5 by 12, followed by 3, followed by 5, and then a 1/2 inch strip up here. And then this piece back here is actually 2 inches by 11. Now everything is not glued down, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that one pushed over to the side and kind of show you how to assemble it. So I like to look at sketches just to get really good ideas of how to scrapbook, and they kind of give me a pattern to follow. So I went ahead and found a 1-page spread and then just turned it into a 2-page spread. And really I just copied the exact same element, so there's a flow from one page to the other. It is not always that way. Sometimes the pages aren't exactly mirrored to each other or identical. Sometimes they can be mirrored. Sometimes they can be identical, or sometimes they can be completely different directions, but use the same pattern paper. So for this one, like I said, I just got a sketch from a book I had on hand. And it does look like I might be out of glue. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that refilled. So these are the Stampin' Seal refills. So once you know you're out of the glue, it kind of ends with this red mark, and they're really easy to change out. So let's see here. You just pop it open and then take this piece out. And it really is as simple as just popping the new one back in and then putting the cover back on. Just line it all up and snap it together and you are good to go. Super simple. So I'm actually going to move these pieces out of the way because I'm really just going from the bottom up, because that just seems to be the easiest way to kind of get everything lined up. Now what I really like about this tape is if I do not lay it down correctly, there is kind of a little bit of wiggle room to fix your mistake if you do not line it up correctly. And you can obviously go from the top down or bottom up. It really is personal preference. Now this strip is like 1/4 of an or 1/2 of an inch and is very similar to, close to my heart would have zip strips at the top of their scrapbooking pages. So I wanted to kind of have something that was mimicking the zip strip because I really liked using those in my scrapbooking pages. So this is actually the ribbon that is in the new colors, and it is a really nice ribbon. You can see it's got that fun texture on it. So what I'm gonna do to adhere the ribbon is I'm gonna make sure that I have this kind of lined up exactly where I want it. And I think I had it where you can still see a little bit of that ribbon and you can see the texture on it. So typically with ribbon, I fold over on one side and I actually just tape it down with washi tape. And that's how I keep the ribbon on my pages. So I don't actually glue it down. Sometimes I'll use glue dots to glue it down, but for the vast majority, so I can make sure that it's straight when I'm putting it on the page, I will just tape it on one side and then stretch it around down to the other side, and same thing. Just flip it over and tape it. That way, if I don't have it centered or straight, it's really easy to just remove the washi tape and pick it up and move it again. And this is just literally washi tape that I've had in my stash for probably a very long time. So the next piece is this beautiful piece right here. And I'm just going to kind of glue that right there on top of it. So far, there's no dimension on this page. Like I said, I'm kind of keeping everything very simple, at least for the base page. And then there will be some dimension in kind of the decorating part. So for the title, I decided to use some of these Memory and More cards. I actually use this one right here. There's a whole bunch of them in this set. You get the 2x3 and then the 4x6s. So they're really easy title cards. So I'm going to kind of offset this one here. You can see it's not exactly square around it, and I kind of did that on purpose. So this is a 2x3, so this one's a little less than that. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that glued down to each other, and I'm really just kind of eyeballing it. I'm eyelining or lining it over on this corner, but really I'm just kind of eyeballing how I put that there. And there will be a cluster right over here, but I'm going to make sure I get my pictures down first. And these are just super cute pictures of my firstborn when she was probably about 3 months old. And these are the pictures that I originally printed for the other layout that I created, and then realized that the colors were completely off. So in these pages, I knew I needed to use pink and orange, so that is all I used in this collection. There are purples and greens and like this greenish blue summer splash in the collection as well, but I knew for these particular photos I had to use the pink and the orange to make everything kind of go together. So I'm going to get these two laid down first, because these are kind of my base photos, and they're going to kind of determine where everything else goes as well. These I cut in 4x4 and then just made a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 frame for them. And I kept these ones with the orange, which is actually peach pie color. So I kept the framing with the orange so that the pink would pop out. And since this is the orange background, I'm going to tuck this pink piece behind it, but as well as, let me get a little more glue down on here. I'm going to tuck this pink piece and this partial orange piece underneath it too. So I'm going to glue those two together. And those are cut from the Unbounded Beauty thin cuts or die cuts, which is actually the Unbounded Love die. So I use this one right here and this one right here. So they kind of give different shapes, but they work really well with each other if you're going to kind of layer them. They give a really fun look. Didn't quite get that laid down right, so we're just going to go ahead and move that again. And I'm going to get that tucked under the photo. And then the pink is going to kind of pop out. And it is going to be my space to either add her name, or I'm thinking her name and her age right there will fit. And that'll be really cute. And then these two I did 3x4 and I mounted them on the Pretty in Pink for the background. And these two I'm just going to kind of lay right there. This one's a little on the crooked side, so I'm going to go ahead and get that straightened out. Again, I really like that tape runner because you do have a little bit of time to kind of fix it if you lay it down incorrectly. And I think I'm going to have the photos this way because that one's really close up and I just like that picture. So I don't want to cover up this one since it's not close up, but that one's more of a close-up picture. So I'm going to put that one on top of it. And then just make sure that I do have enough room for my title over here. I don't want to be able to not see the title or have it kind of going off the page, because then that kind of defeats the purpose as well. So these two, I'm going to go ahead and get these laid down as well. So this one, like, I do this together, and then they're one kind of unit then. So we'll get that there. And then for this, I'm going to make sure I get that glue down. And then I think I am going to use some Stampin' Dimensions for the flowers. Now, the flowers are from the Flowers of Beauty stamp set, and I use the thin cuts to cut them out. And I just use this one that's more of the open color, and I used it just on white cardstock. But I did keep everything, like I said, in the pink and orange tones, so the pretty in pink and the peach pie. So I even cut out and colored the leaves in the pink and orange, which typically you don't see pink leaves, but I just thought it was super cute together. And then I did cut out this piece right here, which is in the glitter, and this would be in the pretty and pink glitter as well. And that is from the Unbound Love, no, it is from the Unbound Beauty die set. So you get all these fun dies, some coordinate with the stamp sets and some are standalone. So this was one of the standalone ones. To glue that one down, I think I'm going to use the fine tip just because these are it's very delicate. And this way I can get the tip on there. And I like this glue because if I do add a little bit too much, it will just dry clear anyway. So I'm going to lay that first. And again, making sure it is still on the page. I don't want anything off the page because then it won't fit into the page protector. And then the two flowers, I do think I am going to pop up with some Stampin' Dimensionals. Just kind of making sure I have them the right way. And you can see I stamped something else on the back and the front. You can't even see it. So I think that's really cool about the inks. They do definitely saturate into the paper, but if you screw up or if you're just testing out stuff, you can always flip it over and use that other piece, which I just think is awesome. So you can see a little bit of the glitter, and I want to make sure I do not cover that sentiment. So I'm actually going to move the flowers a little bit back, because I want to make sure that these leaves do stick out but do not cover the fun sentiment. So the leaves I am going to glue down flat, and I will just use the Tombow. And if this piece standing up kind of bugs you or annoys you, you can always just glue that piece down. I'm going to add another Stampin' Dimensional behind this part of the flower. And then one more behind the orange as well. And then there is that little cluster. Move that a little bit over. So there is that cluster for now. And then down here, I'm going to have another cluster and pretty much do the exact same thing. Going to lay this down. You can see there's tiny little pieces that you need to actually pop out. So it's good to always flip it over just to see if there's any pieces that you missed. Because when you're looking at it this way, it can kind of be hard to see all of the little pieces. But again, same thing, just kind of adding a little bit of glue dot all over. And then I'll make sure I get the bottom this time. And I can always go back and glue that one down. So for this one, I'm going to kind of angle it this way and make sure that's down. And then same thing with the flowers. I will add some dimension to the flowers. I think I'll change direction. Since I had the pink and the orange, I will do the orange and then the pink. Just because why not? Adds a little bit more fun to it. And then this one I don't have to be as worried because I'm not covering up any words or anything. So this one's corner is just kind of sitting there at the corner of that picture. And then I'll add a little bit of glue behind the two. Again, it's personal preference for what kind of glue you want to use. You could use glue dots, you could use the Tombow, you can use really whatever you like. Same thing for the leaves. I'm going to make sure that the pink leaves are coming out under the orange and the orange coming out under the pink, just to kind of give some cohesion. And then there's a little bit of that pink glitter kind of popping out, which is fun. I didn't want it to be too glittered. I will probably add some glitter gems throughout as well. But here is the left side of the 2-page spread. And I'm just going to go ahead and do the exact same thing on the right side. So just going to move everything on over and work on the opposite side. I'm going to keep it a little close just so I can make sure I line up the ribbon the exact same way. But since this is a super simple layout, it'll actually be really easy to mimic it because everything just kind of flows in the exact same direction. I didn't change the direction of the paper, so the DSP and everything is all in the same direction and same location. Again, just trying to keep it all simple just to kind of get everyone introduced into scrapbooking. And with this, you can fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had 7 photos on here. You could probably fit more if you wanted to, and I actually had more that I could put on. And in the future, when Stampin' Up! Has the flip flaps available, that will be fun to demonstrate those to kind of show everyone how to use flip flaps on your pages to add more photos. It's also really good to add any memorabilia or any kind of hidden journaling as well. So this definitely goes together really quick. And since it looks exactly like the other page, it kind of takes away all of the thinking. It's super easy. You're just really following the same pattern over. And really, it was cutting strips of paper, but it turns out super cute. Same thing with this strip of ribbon. And I like using ribbon on the layouts as well, just because it adds a little bit of texture to the layout. I could have used a strip of orange paper, but I really liked how the ribbon was stitched, and it kind of added a little bit of texture that I wouldn't otherwise have gotten with paper. And I'm just doing the same thing I did before, just taping it on the back. And again, if the taping bothers you, you can easily use some glue dots as well. Glue dots work really well on any ribbon. But since I'm gluing down this sheet, it kind of anchors it down anyway, so I'm not overly worried. And as you can see, I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I don't do a whole lot of measuring. I measure for the paper, but when I am laying stuff down, I really just kind of eyeball it. And it all seems to work together. So the original page was just this page on the right, and it had 3 pictures in the middle, which was kind of the focal point of it. And it did have a title up here, but since I changed it to a 2-page, I put the title on the other page. So the photos, I mounted all of them, I mounted all of them. I backed all of them on some of the pretty and pink paper. So for these photos, I'm going to have them arranged kind of in almost like a crescent kind of look over the page right in the middle, because that's how they had them anchored, and I thought that was really cute. So I did 2 4x4s and 1 2 or 3x4, And then we're just gonna go ahead and get those anchored, and there will be a cluster up here and then a cluster here. No, where was it? There was this down here. And then I had a triangle over on this page as well. So there was a cluster over here, I believe. And was it down here or was it up there? I think it was down here, you know, and I can't go back and look because I am recording right off my phone. So we're just gonna go with that. I think that's how it went. So for these, just getting them glued down, and I don't think I'm going to pop up any of these photos. Just gonna keep the photos all flat and just kind of pop up any of the clusters. And it really, it's the same kind of cluster on both pages. I think I like that right there. That way you see all her little expressions, just adorable. This piece right here, I'm just gonna keep that down flat as well. That was also cut out of the, I believe it was the Unbounded Love sets. They have such good frames on there, and then really good sentiments as well. So the sentiment is actually from that set as well. So this is kind of like a mega suite where you get the Unbounded Love, and then the Unbounded Beauty Suite comes with the Flowers of Beauty as well. So you get 2 stamp sets, 2 die cuts, a bunch of paper, cardstock, glitter, like the whole shebang. It's really, really a beautiful suite, and everything coordinates with each other, and then it goes with each other as well. So we're just going to do the exact same thing as before. I'm going to turn this over just to make sure that there are no little extras that I didn't get. And when you do have the little extras, you can get a tool to get them out. I literally just kind of flicked this with my finger and they all kind of flew out. And it didn't break the glitter paper because it's actually quite sturdy. It's definitely thicker than regular cardstock. So me flicking it did not do anything to the integrity of it. And then the little dimensionals. I think I want it like that. And again, you can see I'm just using scraps because why not? There's no use in throwing away anything, honestly. If you're just testing out some stamps and then you decide you don't like it, just flip it over. That is the wonderful part about this paper, is it soaks in the ink, but you know, doesn't soak it all the way through, which is really nice because we all kind of, you know, we can have stamping incidences and not really realize it. We don't want to throw away the whole thing. So there's that. And then this one will go down here. Again, same thing. Just glue it on down. Put it right here in that corner. And I honestly, as pathetic as that sounds, don't remember if that was the original way I had it, but I really like that triangle. And then there's this triangle, but then the whole thing can go together as a triangle. So since it is a 2-page spread, your eyes kind of flow through the whole thing. So I have the orange and the pink. So I will do the orange and the pink that way. And I just kind of kept the exact same theme, the exact same design. It really keeps it easy. It gives you, you know, a couple things that you have to color or die cut and stamp. You don't have to feel like you're using too many of different sets or you know, kind of get overwhelmed or anything. You can really create beautiful pages with one suite, which is also what I'm trying to kind of show everyone. Again, anyone who is new to either Stampin' Up or to scrapbooking, you can actually keep it very simple, use very simple items, and you will be very successful with it. You don't need to have all the things at once. You can literally just use what you find beautiful and then what will go with your pictures. So with these, like I said before, there's orange and pink. So I didn't use any of the other colors from the collection. I just used the orange and pink to highlight the orange and pink in what she was wearing. And then I just kind of kept it very simple, not too much glitter, not too much glitz. The actual pages, there's not too bold of designs. I actually used this one because she has that little flower on her shirt, which kind of matches the same design as well. So I didn't want to take away from the photos, but I wanted you to kind of see and emphasize the photos as well. So then the last thing are some gems, and I have both of these. So I have the flat beads and then, what do they call them? The resin dots, the flat resin dots, and the glitter. These called shimmer gems, that's what they are. I keep calling them glitter gems, which are falling off their backing. So for these, I really only would use the pink and the orange. And I'm trying to see if like maybe the dots will be my thing. I think I'm gonna go with the dots this time. I used the shimmer last time, but since we have that glitter right there, I'm just gonna go ahead and add a few of these dots because I really like how that looks with the dots. It kind of keeps it, you know, a little simpler. It's not combating with the shine. So I'm just gonna put some on each cluster to kind of add some balance and I guess cohesion as well. And if it's on, you know, like that's orange, so I put the pink down. I might need another one, so I think I'll do another orange, and then over here I'll do the orange. This one I'll add a little pink. And then same thing on the other side. Kind of flipping that over. I will add some up here as well. I'll do a pink and an orange. Just another pink. Doing things in odds, it does bring your eyes towards something if stuff is done in odds. I do think I liked it up here better. Odds, and again, that triangle, it really does kind of draw your eye to it, and odd numbers are just better in decorating, and that's in anything in scrapbooking or home decor. Everything's just kind of better. It's, I guess, more pleasing to the eye when things are done in odds. So I might add just a little bit of the Wink of Stella. I know I said there was already too much glitter, but I'm just going to add it right in the middle of those flowers, just to give a little added touch. And this is the clear Wink of Stella, so it just gives a little bit of shine. And it doesn't pick up the ink because I stamped these yesterday and cut them out so they are fully dry. But if I can get that, if you can see it, there's a little bit of shimmer added to it just because of that Wink of Stella. So here's kind of more or less just the close-up of the one. And here is the other page. Again, same exact layout, but the photos are obviously different size and different orientation, and it all just kind of flows with all those clusters of the flowers. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you will all join me again next time. See you all later, and happy crafting.